Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren and this is Scorpionic Readings, and for today's pick a card topic, we're taking a look at what you should consider letting go of or giving up on at this time. There are three groups for today's reading. Let me go ahead and show you these up close. So group number one, your crystal here is the Serpent. Your card is the Father. Group number two, your crystal is the Frog, and your card is the Empty Room. Group number three, your crystal is the Koala, and your card is the Tear. Okay, so take all the time you need to choose your pile or piles for today's reading. Whenever you're ready, you can head down to the description box of this video. You will find the timestamps that will take you directly to your messages, and I'll meet you there. Hi there, group one. Welcome to your messages. So let's go ahead and take a look at your oracle cards to get the messages going. So let's see, this will be your final guidance oracle card. I'll place that off to the side and reveal that at the very end of your messages, so stay tuned for that. Let's take a look. Your first message here is perseverance. You have strength as well. Beautiful. And quickening with discovery, acceleration, knowledge, and source. Wow. Discovering source is huge, especially with the Father, like discovering where you came from, discovering strength from that. Like with roots, we see her protected by the roots of the trees, the fruits of the labor that has been put in, that you have also demonstrated through learning, through discovery, through taking that to discover a new adjacent source to put that energy into than you had been using growing up, or that you had witnessed growing up as well. So let's see with the tea leaf we can get additional, more specific messages. We have dog close up, pleasure with a close friend. We have rose, romance is in the air. Arrow, you were on the right path regarding some aspect of your life. Very good with the discovery, I feel intuitively, but we'll keep getting messages before I jump to any conclusions here. We have older man, dealings or relationship with an older man, or really any type of figure in general. We have mule. Someone is extremely stubborn and unwilling to change. Perhaps this relationship dynamic we've had come in with a person coming in as the older man. Stubbornness, unwilling to change within them. I think I mentioned that the older man doesn't specifically have to be an older man, but we do have the Father, and the first thing I picked up on was this idea of like generational knowledge and diverging from that, but the root of it still being who you are and how you were raised, but you're putting that energy into something different. And so the dealings or relationship with an older man, as well as them being stubborn, it really does make sense with what I've had come up. Like there could be some disparity of what you're doing. Perhaps relationship is coming in big here with pleasure with a close friend and romance in the air. Perhaps there is some judgment about a relationship. It could be someone that you had been friends with to start, and now it's like this person is, I knew it all along. I knew that this was romance. I knew that you were lying to my face when you said that you weren't in love. You were just friends. That's something coming up as well. There's observation. We have discovery in this card. There's observation coming from quite literally a father figure, or generally older figures within your life who have raised you, who have a close eye naturally on what you do because they spent 18 years raising you. I don't know what it is, but there's some entitlement, there's some stubbornness, and not stubbornness with wanting you to be happy. It says you are on the right path. You are happy, I think, with the things that are accelerating for you at this time. The judgment coming in here is not of, I don't want this person, I don't want my daughter, I don't want my child, whatever it is, my son, to be unhappy. But it's feeling like they know best about what you should be doing, feeling like what you are moving toward quickly at this time was very spontaneous and maybe not planned, not thought out, maybe was really seemed like a 180 to them. I definitely see that here with the black and white on the father. It's like the ability to relate at this point is difficult. So is there anything you should give up? I really feel like it is the internal ways, the ways in which you internalize those opinions, and you start to almost gaslight yourself into thinking that maybe they are right, maybe I don't know what I'm doing, maybe I am, if this is how they are observing me, then maybe on a much wider scale, like I am just being seen as not doing it right, or this is all going to be a phase, or something I look back on and realize that it was wrong. Like it could be getting into your head, and so the thing you need to give up is letting other people decide how you're going to feel and what it means for you to be safe, happy, and in love. There's no one that can define that except you. And some of this is, it is a bit of stubborn energy, I think, on your part as well, just in terms of the fact that you're on such a specific path, moving forward with acceleration, new knowledge, and perseverance to, again, uphold qualities of love, safety, happiness, health within your life. That's the goal. That is where your arrow is pointing you, which is the right path. But there's something holding you back, like limiting beliefs or self-sabotage almost. Not in any major ways I'm picking up on at this point, but just in general frame of thinking, frame of mind, the fact that you are even able to allow such an observation that seemingly zooms in way up close on you, you would allow that observation to become fact or reality, or there is a tendency to look back and say, well, like, did they have a point, or second guessing before you do things because you have that voice in your head telling you what they would think or how they would perceive it. That is something that needs to be given up at this point. Keep persevering with authenticity and accelerating at that rate with knowledge and with authenticity and with, again, the goals of health, love, happiness, peace. That can't be wrong. It says very clearly you are on the right path regarding some aspect of your life, which I think is all about you and discovery. I'm not sure that this message would be saying the person you are with is the right person. I think it's the journey that you are on as you experience a relationship with this person is in line with the things you were meant to learn, with who you were meant to be as well. So let's take a look with the tarot at additional messages, looking more close into what all this means. What type of life is pile one heading toward? Like, what type of changes are going on right now? Perhaps they can inspire confidence that this is indeed the picture that you want to be painted of your life through tarot cards. I think that this will just give you, close up inspiration and realization that the picture that this is going to paint is beautiful. So we have the 9 of Swords. We have the Magician. It's like a complete 180 happening again, from lack of control, anxiety, fear, to being in control as the Magician, to having the power and the tools to make what you want appear, to manifest. We have the Knight of Wands. And that feels like moving forward with passion, perseverance, and authenticity as well. Knowing that perhaps the journey, and this makes sense totally, but perhaps the journey that you are on as the Knight of Wands is the Knight in general in tarot is still learning. It is progressing from first the Page to the Knight, then to the Queen, to the King. Like, there is still learning and process happening on. So what I had mentioned with this relationship coming through, or relationships that you are exploring at this time, perhaps not being end goal, there still is the very valid purpose of them being in alignment with the things you were meant to be feeling, experiencing, loving, and learning on this path. And you're doing so, learning, tweaking a lot on the way, knowing that this situation is something I did not enjoy, so I don't want that going forward. All of that kind of thing. And it's leading to you to a path of great happiness and emotional fulfillment, and being very loving toward yourself, as well as feeling very authentic effortlessly. That's kind of a big thing too, is effortlessly feeling like you don't have to do anything now to wake up and choose the way that you want to express yourself. It's very natural to gravitate toward those things, to put them on, whatever that means for you, or just being who you are, speaking how you want to. Yeah, embodying like different language is a big thing as well. Wow, and we do have the King of Wands. So I do feel like your happiness, your success here, the thing, if you don't give up, the thing that you will reach and become is all the more powerful with this true happiness through the knowledge and experience being embraced. You go forward as the King of Wands. Let's see what this final message is. And the King of Cups as well. We talked a lot about emotional fulfillment and being in tune with yourself, knowing what you want to accept and what you want to decline going forward. Those are big, huge strengths that you will be demonstrating through this process of learning through authenticity and putting yourself in the situations that make you effortlessly authentic. Ooh, I really love this message so far, guys. This is very promising. So let's take a look at, what is the encouragement here of what to be giving up? Is it the outside perspective and letting that kind of influence at this time? Or what is pile 1 being called to let go of, to no longer let hold? I'm going to take all those. We're going to go with that. Wow, the 2 of Cups, the Queen of Cups, 4 of Pentacles, 5 of Swords, 5 of Wands, 7 of Cups, and we'll stop there. So the first thought I have here with the 2 of Cups involves what I had mentioned about relationship coming in here, and this not being the end goal, soulmate perhaps. So what you should be giving up on is attachment to that idea of what that path will look like with you and this person. It very well could be like your first experience being in relationship as your more authentic self. Yeah, and still, of course, in process of becoming that, of becoming more true and solid within that. But this is like the first relationship where you perhaps like introduce yourself a certain way, or something is different about the way that you portray yourself. And so there is so much value in that itself, and in the experience of feeling that authenticity and recognizing how that inspires authenticity back from the person that you are in relationship as well. And that is the focus on why this romance is blooming, why this relationship is working. But the focus here is to enjoy that process and to let go of the heavy chains you have on you now that prevent you from experiencing that come in the form of envisioning this as the end goal. And it almost comes from a place, I'm getting this idea with the 9 of Swords, it almost comes from a place of like, I can't stand to have to do this again, to have to be vulnerable like this again, to put myself out there like this again. I cannot stand the risk of not connecting with someone the way that I hit it off with this person. I can't stand the risk of being judged for who I show up as the next time around. Like, I can't guarantee that it will go this smoothly again. If that is the only thing holding you back from experiencing more, that is something that needs to be let go of, that idea toward what this relationship is for. It is not a means to save you, to take you away from the need to keep trying, to keep persevering and putting in effort to find the relationships you were meant to in this lifetime. And that's like a huge overall message here. Let go of the idea that a relationship, in some cases, a relationship does not have to be committed or on a long-term track in order for it to have value in your life and to be there to teach you something. That is a big lesson going forward, because we see you at the start of discovery, at the start of authenticity. And I think if you were to look back at yourself a year from now, 2 years, 5 years, 10, you'll look back and realize time and time again that you were not as ready as you thought you were. It's not that you aren't ready, it's just that it can be so much better. Time and time again, when you learn more, discover more, each relationship teaches you something to bring along to the next. Truly. Yeah, Queen of Cups is very much acknowledging that as well. She'd be very in tune with that side of herself, very emotionally intelligent. She would see things in that kind of grand perspective as well and see the good of what it's all doing for them. Yeah, close up, see it, see the good close up rather than big picture, we're going to be together 20 years down the road. Focus on the now, be present in the now. Let go of the need to grasp onto someone very tightly. I saw 44 on the timer, and we do have number 4, getting to that point, grasping onto things tightly, not feeling secure enough to let things kind of breathe and live, and let go of people as well is a big message. If you're resonating with that, it could be something you would appreciate them to do for you is to give you space to grow, to learn, to achieve on your own. And I think a big lesson here is to allow others to do that as well. Let go of the need to hold on to things tightly. We have you as the magician. We have that you are meant to attract, manifest, and desire only the things that are meant for you and meant to serve you in this lifetime. So we can't have you here getting scared of something leaving, holding on to something too tightly, not letting go of it past its time. We can't have that when we also see you as the magician. We see that you can do it again and again and again and make the things that are truly meant for you, that don't cause a fight, to keep them upheld and to keep them with you. They will naturally be attracted and magnetized to you for as long as they should be. There is no fight other than that, other than the really like the baseline attraction that ties you and your relationships together. And then working with that with the 7 of Cups, no expectations. No expectations. You know that very well a few outcomes could happen. A few outcomes are very black and white and predictable. You know, we could marry, we could be in a non-monogamous relationship. I don't know how to explain this, but like it's just, there are certain things you could predict and that you can control, very widespread, big picture things. And then when you get to that concept, we're approaching a path of marriage. There's a lot when you zoom in, when you look close up. That's a big idea here. Close up, present, moment, now, rather than wide picture, because there is no predicting the intricacies that exist within these buckets that you could choose. There's so much more to it. So yes, you can have a general goal idea of what you would like. I'm not saying to just get in relationships willy-nilly because you can and not have any intention with it. Like, you can have general intention based off of your feelings, your emotions, your intuition with the Queen of Cups and King of Cups. But beyond that, there is no help to you now in the fight that comes with trying to make everything fit into that, when there is a lot of discovery and knowledge to be learned, acquired along that path. There is no telling the intricacies that can come into play with that as well. Yeah, so let go of that pressure. It's also very much a relief to you to say that you no longer have to control things so much. Feel the pressure too, that is. So let's take a look at your additional messages. So going forward, we have Ace of Pentacles, the Moon. Seems like some self-discovery, some new inspirations. A 10 of Wands, finally letting go of things that had held you back as well. The Hierophant, it's a lesson that was meant to be learned in this lifetime for you as the Hierophant. 4 of Wands, we talked a lot about marriage. That was big here. I think that we have promising outcomes in store for you within this lifetime that you were meant to achieve, and one of them could be a long-term committed partner that it seems like a lot of you are desiring and seek out in this lifetime, but we see that there is process happening before that point. We see that there is growth, and in fact acceleration to that growth, perhaps with likewise discovery, but something internal that clicks for you. I'm trying to think of an example that I can provide for myself. I think, yeah, there was no point in me having planned for a long-term commitment with certain people along my path, because reach one day and all of that is gone, because it turns out I'm not even interested in that group of people. And so it's something like that. It's like there's no telling the point in which something will be discovered within you, but it very much is going to be pivotal toward the path you're meant to go on, the Hierophant. Yeah, and it's a happy one. The 4 of Wands is celebration, is a big life pivotal moment, and it's you coming into true authenticity through the reveal of who you were meant to be all along, and that perhaps is going to change the things you envisioned for yourself, big picture. And that is why your big focus here is let go of the need to control the big picture. Focus on the present, focus on the feelings behind things, the emotions behind things, not the way they look and their outward perception, because that is where you will find the true discovery, is looking at emotion, feeling in inner work, looking within yourself as well. You will drop a lot of what entailed the big picture you had painted in your mind because of some discovery that completely changes big aspects of that, of what you thought you were looking for and what you thought it would look like. Yeah, so that is your message, pile 1. Let's take a look at your final message. We have delight. Count your blessings and enjoy life. Take pleasure in simple things. Always expect the best. Very much so feels like being present, being in the moment, finding happiness, finding authenticity in the moment. Focus on delight, focus on feelings and emotions rather than what it looks like. Focus on how it makes you feel and focus inward on the close-up picture, which is inward around your heart, your feelings, your mind. Yeah, use all of that to your advantage, and you are going to arrive to a place where you are more authentic than you ever thought you could be. And I'm so excited for you to reach that point, pile 1. I hope you enjoyed this message. Please take some time to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it if you take the time to do all of those things to support me here. But with all of that being said, pile 1, I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in your next reading. Hi there, group 2. Welcome to your messages. Let's dive right into the oracle cards I have shuffled out. This will be your final guidance card for today's reading, so make sure you stay tuned to the very end of the messages for that one. So let's take a look. Group 2, your first message, we have confusion. All right, we have fire. Okay. Wow. Messages with synchronicity, memory, mind, and healing. Wow. It's really very interesting how memory comes up and mind as well, because The empty room makes me think of the mind being empty, especially with confusion, and then fire as well. Like there's something very prominent on the forefront on your mind, but it's so confusing. It's so strong, but the fact that it is so strong and prevalent is very confusing and almost like diminishes its power for you ultimately, because it's all encompassing with the fire. It's all like one, but it is so huge. It's like you can't figure out how to crack or decipher this message. Yeah, it's one big memory in the mind of fire is distorting it, is making it seem like it was one way, but there's a lot of confusion about the reality of it. This could be talking about long ago memories that you were trying to make sense of. On one end, it's like numbing to the mind, it's empty, but on the other end, it's like all consuming. So let's find out. I have a feeling that this is something that needs to be let go of or worked through at the very least, that needs to be identified. So let's take a look closer with these tea leaf. We have Bull with do not back down from opposition, show strength and fortitude. Wow. So this is something that does indeed need to be deciphered, and you can benefit from kind of getting a better handle on this. But we're going to get to the bottom of this. We have the month of October. We have Fox with shrewdness and resourcefulness, especially in business. Target, a goal-oriented person. Tulip, great passion. I feel like some of you could be entering into like a new position that is kind of bringing about these energies, refreshing them for you. It like comes soon. In a couple months you could have secured a new job, new position, or just a new role in general that you will be existing within. And I say that because of the goal-oriented person and great passion. I think that it is something you identify with specifically, or otherwise you can't quite, again, name the one thing that makes you resonate with this position, with this job, with working with this group of people, with this specific mission and the goal behind the work you do. Yeah, something starting soon. And I think shrewdness and resourcefulness, especially in business here, I think that, wow, and we have great passion as well. I think something could be happening within this workspace, within this new role, that you realize something could be done a lot better with the system in place here and with the steps that are taken to get the work done, because it's bringing about a lot of conflicting ideas of, well, I resonate with what this work is for, with who it is trying to help. And as someone who can relate to the direct like client or customer base we are targeting, you see the problems, you see the core issues within what this tries to do. Maybe you feel like the agenda is less of empowerment and more of pushing away or numbing away or just isolating, blocking it out. Like, this is very specific. I'm almost thinking of like hypnotherapy or like some kind of therapy in general, or like social work, being a counselor of some sort. Yeah. It's bringing a lot of like triggering memories. And I think the message here is to not back down from that opposition, to show your strength and fortitude. And I think that is what's going to allow those flames to simmer down and reveal what is beyond the empty room. Like, once the flames simmer down, the room is empty. And I think that is confusing, because you find that there is no like major discovery behind the closed door that you had been seeking to open. And it's almost rather a means of a fresh start for you, is being in this role and working through it in this way. It is healing to the mind, absolutely. Synchronicity, because you are seeing your path directly in align with the people you are working with, and so many connections between what you have been through as shared experience with these communities and people that you are working with. Do not back down from this, because there is a lot of benefit to the communities you are with, as well as there is something major in store for you. And I think some of you are wondering if this is going to be right for you, if this is going to be too much, too challenging, too hard to be in this space. And your message is not to let go of this, not to give up on this. The title of the reading is there anything you should be letting go of or giving up on? I think that you were meant to persevere, to push through this. There's a lot here for you beyond the intensity, beyond the initial excitement, energies of the newness. There is so much in store for you within this path. Again, coming in the fall, or maybe you started last fall and your responsibilities are increasing as you are reaching like an annual mark, and so you're going to be introduced more closely with what you were drawn to in the first place to come into this position, which could look like doing like field work, going out and being with people, whatever it is. Less admin, less behind the scenes, and more action at this point. So that's why we see this kind of coming up for you at this time. So not the time to give up, especially if you have done the basic work of being somewhere for a while and now your responsibilities are increasing. This is not the time, for many reasons, for you to give up. One of which, of course, being, I think, the benefits that come with this raise, perhaps, or yeah, but otherwise the biggest benefit is toward you. This is an experience that no one else can rely on to receive from being in this position. This is something very special for you you were meant to go through. The Knight of Pentacles, I do see you increasing in finances, we had talked about, so not letting go of the opportunity for greater financial security, for yeah, and that doesn't even feel like the most significant part of this, but it is a valid fact we have coming through here, is that your finances will increase, and that is something that you should take hold of. Definitely the King of Pentacles, and much more than I think you could anticipate at this point, because I think there is room for even more growth and even more travel upward from this position. I see you like humble beginnings, and who knows where this can go for you. It could lead to greater advocacy, being a public face for a project, being a spokesperson, being on the front lines and getting deals, getting money from that. I see great opportunity for a very comfortable financial life in this path that you are pursuing. And again, it is because your unique path leading up to this gave you all you need to make a really big impact on this. Wow. Just as I had mentioned, your experiences growing up, nostalgia, past history, I think I had mentioned something about like, something that you kind of blocked away that is becoming more apparent, that is kind of revealing itself through this whole experience for some of you. It's the aspect of nostalgia, childhood, we see in the Six of Cups. And so very much so, you're healing your inner child, you're discovering a lot about what you went through in that time. The confusion about it, it's becoming more clear, because again, the intensity, the initial pain, the initial like sharp burn of it all, and the way it cuts deep was all consuming. And it allowed you to go for so long with almost like a numbness to it, where it was acceptance of how intense it was, and there was no way for you to have known at that time. It was not revealed to you yet that there was a way to distinguish that and to realize that beyond that there is existence for you to occupy, explore, and fresh start for you to move forward from. Wow, the Judgment call. This is like, the Judgment card is really about like a major moment in your life's path that you are meant to arrive to. It's your call here after completing a lesson, after learning something, after exhibiting the strength and tools to be able to take on the next, being in the perfect place at the perfect time for evolution and for twist of fate, turn of events to happen. And that's what I see here, is a huge turn of events taking place along this career path, along this volunteer work. 7 of Wands. I think you start to realize the way that you fight for others is how you should be fighting for yourself. And definitely the 8 of Cups, we see you moving on a path where you prioritize that, and where, yeah, exactly that. You realize you have work to do, and that there's a fight to fight within you, and that is going against the all-consuming fire that is raging within you, and how confusing it has been to have that in existence. 7 of Cups. Yeah, and like the empty room, as well as 7 of Cups, feels like opportunity, and with which that opportunity is filled, we can't always say. All we know is that it is what is meant to come to us, to serve us and better us at that time. So after extinguishing the fire, we see the opportunity that awaits for you. 3 of Swords, we see healing. The empty room like implies that, yes, like there is a chance to breathe, but I sense like a sorrow kind of kicking in. Things were like numbed before, or just too overheated and intense for anything else to be felt. And with that cleared away, with that intensity gone, it leaves room for deeper feelings. And I think one of those is sorrow, and is actually having the chance to grieve what you've been through, what you experienced. Page of Pentacles. I'm going to pull one more on this spread to get a final message. For that row, can we clarify Page of Pentacles? What does that mean for the collective going forward here? Wow, and we have the Knight of Cups. I think you will experience offerings in general of support, donations, of activities surrounding what you're doing in order to place it on a pedestal, to increase its platform, to increase its reach. There will be a lot of offerings to support that goal, as well as I think there will be a time in which you are ready for a true love, for a true commitment and romance to come toward you, because it will be felt this time, is what I thought of. It will not be disguised as raging passion means love. No, it will be the thing that comes in that calms the waters within you, not the one that actively contributes to the flames, which I think it can be easy for that to feel like what we are meant to have when it is in the form of excitement and passion. But what we are seeking here is something to extinguish, to cool that, and to even the tone, and almost like a neutral perspective as well. I think there could have been a tendency to connect with people who had similar experience. I'm not saying that your work is being advised to not connect with people you have similar experience with, but rather in terms of love specifically and romance specifically. I think there is a pattern that has been in existence of seeking out likeness and sameness in terms of like mental state and trauma, like things like that, that you can relate to people with. And I think that is good in itself. It has done you good to be in those relationships, but what will serve you best is one that can appreciate and support you in a much better way. It's opposite to what you would think. You would think they would not understand because they have not been through it, and therefore they don't know how to support you, but rather that is exactly what gives them like the neutral perspective. I'm thinking of the Judgment Call and like Justice. It's like they have the neutral perspective to it all, and turns out that what you had been through was tough and not good for you. And so their neutral perspective naturally takes a side of disagreement with those limiting beliefs that were instilled in you through these bad experiences. And it doesn't mean they blindly support and agree with you. It means all the much more that their neutral perspective naturally takes the side of supporting you and what you have been through and putting non-judgment toward you. It's just like comforting to know that like the right neutral way of things, how it should work, is not what you experienced. And that is a very fresh, illuminating perspective to have come in from that person, and one that would only be, yes, would have been still on your side if they were someone who had experienced and did not have a neutral perspective to what you had been through. It would still, their support would be on your side, but I think again it would only add fuel to the fire. And there were times where it was good to have fuel added to your fire to inspire action, healing, forgiveness, whatever it is within you, discovery, analysis. But in terms of love, relationship, especially at this point, let go of the idea that someone cannot understand you because they have not been through what you have. The neutral perspective of it all is what is most refreshing and beneficial to you going forward. So let go of, that is one thing to let go of. We spoke of continuing with the career path you're being called to that is challenging for emotional reasons, for personal experience reasons, but do let go of the need to lean into that trauma, to lean into that experience by only connecting with people who can relate exactly. So let's see this card here. We have strength. You are being called to have the strength within yourself to know that these two unlikely figures complement each other, protect each other so well. Yeah. Like you will be tended to and nurtured even in the form of you that you feel like is so raw and vulnerable and perhaps untamed. I see someone really in the most beautiful way like coming in and supporting you, and we see that likewise at the same time you are supporting them right back. So let's see here. What else is in store for pile 2 in their future? Let's take a look at these cards. We have the Queen of Swords. I love this card for you guys. One who's not going to take anything, any BS any longer. The Queen of Swords, who knows the truth, who will always seek truth, who, again, speaking of like that neutral perspective, I really see the Queen of Swords as having that ability to have a neutral perspective toward things. The Death card leading to the fresh start. The empty room is declared as such quite literally, and therefore there is room to fill that space. Ace of Wands is new ideas, inspiration, creativity coming in, boldness, and the knowing that that is something you should take further than just the initial idea. King of Swords as well. That is what will really bring you into an even greater position than you have been thus far. You will know which strength, which tool to move forward with long term. It will be obvious when it is presented to you. I want to see this card as well. We have the Star. Wow, it will be a guiding force for you. It will be divinely supported, and you will feel the difference between it's the way it is like it will be such a dramatic difference from the empty room to now there is illumination within it, the Star. It will be so obvious. This is what joy feels like. This is what my true, authentic passion looks like. It will be unlike anything you have pursued to this. It's something that will make you and you alone happy, that is meant to fill your empty space alone, just for you to fit, custom made into the space that is left behind when we tackle and extinguish all of these flames through the work you are doing now, through this path that you started about a year ago, and now you are progressing, getting a raise, getting a higher status in, or rather that you are approaching new work come this October. We talked about relationship aspects, about finding the person who has the neutral perspective, not needing to find your twin, your person who knows exactly what you've been through, because it can feed into each other, that it can escalate, it adds fuel to the fire. We talked about that as well. So your neutral perspective person is going to help you in ways that you never considered would be possible from someone with that limited perspective. And the growth we see in you is very, very exciting as well. We see a rebirth, we see unexplainable joy and inspiration toward new pursuits in which you will realize nothing has ever felt this right to pursue. Very exciting. Pile 2, let's take a look at your final message. Wow, we have leadership. So perfect. Step into your leadership, share your message, inspire and empower others. Pile 2. Very, very perfect. All the confirmation you needed that this path is something you should not let go of just yet. You will be a leader there. You will impact and place compassion toward others that is more needed than you could ever imagine. Pile 2, those are your messages. I hope you enjoyed the reading. Please take the time to like, comment, and subscribe if you do. I really appreciate it if you take the time to do all of those things. And with all of that being said, Pile 2, I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in your next reading. Hi there, Group 3. Welcome to your messages. Let's dive right into the Oracle cards. So this will be your final message for today's reading, so make sure you stay tuned to the very end of the message to reveal that card. So let's take a look. Pile number 3, your first message here is workaholic. Okay, we have gates, as well as harmony with balance, energy, breath, and flow. Okay, so getting some ideas here. Let's take a look. The message for today is there anything you should consider letting go of or giving up on at this time? So I'm getting some kind of picture of that. Let's take a look at the tea leaf. We have moon, changes in your life. Definitely there is something to be changed is how I am feeling that message for your reading. We have grasshopper. Wow, situations in the balance that require careful handling. And we talked about balance, harmony, flow. It's very, very interesting so far. We have fire with strong emotion, passionate love, or hate. Yeah, like which one is it? And the fact that there is consideration of is this love or hate is like telling in itself. Grapes, time to go out and have fun. I almost read that as time to get out as well. We have archway, wow, with new opportunities, possibilities, and paths opening up, as well as the gate message. And your final tea leaf, we have fair woman, dealings or relationship with a woman with blonde, gray, or white hair, whatever color hair. It does not matter to me with these tea leaf about hair color, but some kind of woman or figure in your life that is coming to play here, perhaps within work. But the tear and workaholic immediately with harmony, the need calling for balance, energy, breath, and flow, makes me think that what you have been doing has been destroying you emotionally lately. Especially the moon card makes me think of your inner true feelings, the tear, like the third eye, seeing the big picture. Something has been making you unhappy, and it's the decision here, the conflict we have mentioned with, is it passionate love or hate? Either way, it is strong emotion. You are having trouble discerning, is this challenging, frustrating, emotionally testing to like a normal degree, or has it beyond past that threshold by now with Like, is this normal? Is this what people go through? Is this just what comes with the job, what comes with the struggles that it entails? Not everything is perfect. You're doing a lot of comparison of feeling like, well, I signed up for this, I should have known this is what it entails. But I feel like what you are doing is very strict, is very regimented. There's need to be very professional and watch how you behave and how you act, and it very much goes against, in the workaholic card, what you would like to be focused on, which are things more inspiring from an emotional sense, from an artistic sense, as well as what you would thrive with, what you desire. And I think time to go out and have fun. It's making me look at the workaholic card because of the purple, and it's like, start exploring the thing that you enjoy, that there's no telling what could become your escape, or like a mental escape. You are still tied to, committed to something, but this is a mental escape for you. It keeps you balanced, it keeps harmony and inspiration in your life. Or is it the need to diverge completely from that negative path and go into the creative field, that you never know what can make you money, what can be an opportunity? And we do have new opportunity, possibility, and path opening up. The reason we have the consideration conflict happening within your mind is this is something that requires careful handling. I think I can relate this to a job I had for a few years that I really did not enjoy. It was not fulfilling to me. Speaking of creative, inspiration, emotional aspects, it was not giving me any of that. And there was the recognition that this is not for me. But the careful handling that came into play was the fact that I knew that most of the time I spent not enjoying it and wanting to leave was a period of time that it would not have been supported for me to pursue something else. It was careful handling in that I needed to wait for the right time to make a transition. I think that is the case for some of you guys. We have a promising message of something shifting, a new opportunity, or at least I talked about, you never know what's going to make you money. Like the realization through research that something very well can make you the amount of money you need to live in the area you do, with how your rent is, with what your bills look like. You're doing the math, you're making the calculation, and you're handling it carefully. And that first is the recognition that this is not fulfilling to me. Next is the recognition that there is something I do really enjoy that I would like to explore more, but the fear that it will never bring you the balance and harmony and financial stability and safety that you get from what you are doing now. But after that, I see that a new opportunity, a new gate is opened up for you, and it could be something entirely different to what you're doing. It could be like adjacent to what you're doing. You could have been, you're finding a different platform to sell your work or to do your work online versus in person, things like that. New considerations are coming into play very easily when you just allow the consideration of this could very well be my thing. Like, enjoyment of my work and happiness can be my thing. Like I can at once enjoy it and be stable from it. Yeah, changes in your life. I feel like it is very much a message here that where you are at now is, from reading the cards here, very clearly not fulfilling to you, not where you were meant to be long term. But if we're comparing it to my story, I think it is very much a time to use a lot of consideration in how you plan to go forward. Again, like waiting for that opportunity to open up, that realization in which you know this is something I can work with. Let's take a look. What is this pathway going to look like for pile 3 for when they recognize a time to change it up, to prioritize their enjoyment of work, to lean into those talents and skills that they never had the open-mindedness, I guess, just from lack of visibility within. your life, about what this could actually mean for you in terms of making it a career. We have 8 of Wands. I feel like there's incoming, this can be a message of like incoming communication, incoming information. And so I think with me talking about doing some research, about listening to people who have done what you do, and you start to make these connections of, I never even knew that this resource existed. I never knew that I could sign up for this for free and this would help me. It's a lot of information that the Emperor, you're going to be able to be strategic with it. And the good news here is changes in your life. I think regardless of the message, we talked about consideration coming and planning coming before you make a move out of an unhappy work situation. The good news here is that the changes are going to start now. I have to keep bringing it back to my example, but in the time that I really, really wanted to leave and I was not fulfilled by this at all, I had started pursuing an outside secondary project. And just having that in my possession brought me an escape. Time to go out and have fun. It brought me an escape and allowed the waiting process to be much, much more tolerable. So I think your good news starts now. I think your path opening up will start now with getting good at it, getting a lot of practice, fine-tuning what you want it to look like. And by the time that starts coming together, I think the time will be right strategically to make a move out of the unhappy situation. The Fool, it will be an entirely new leap. And I have to say, like, the message of the grass isn't always greener is coming into play here as well. The 4 of Wands, there will be many moments that are pivotal that make you realize this can happen for me. Ace of Cups. There will be a lot of moments where you feel so true to yourself as well. You feel so overwhelmed by emotion that comes with recognizing your newfound authenticity and your newfound purpose. And the message of the grass isn't always greener. I want to take a look at that with these cards here. Page of Swords. It's just the fact so far with this message that there is like a learning curve. There is a lot to learn and kind of trial and error to go through. But the solution, the answer is available. And if it just takes trial and error to reach that, then I think you're in pretty good shape. The Emperor, you are strategic. I think you are smart. I think you are thoughtful as well. I think that you absolutely have the tools to handle this, to not let a seemingly apparent setback linger for you as such for a long time to where it holds you back. Letting those things exist and pass over you. The moon and its phases, like recognizing the phases of a growth spurt, and then there's some kind of setback, but we know that the next growth spurt is we're incrementally moving forward, and that's what you know. The Hanged Man, that is the perspective that makes all of this possible for you. Truly, like, if we were all to give up when one little setback happened, who knows the kinds of opportunities that could have been left without the perseverance, without the emotional intelligence and the enlightenment to know that it's all okay. You realize, I was sick today, I couldn't put out any work. And then you have the thought of, if I had pushed through that, if I had put out that work, maybe it would have been significantly lower quality, and in some way that would have backfired and brought me back further by just because I put it out there, I did it, I checked it off my list. But you know, again, it's all about the emotional intelligence you have to know that that isn't necessarily good to do something out of commitment always. And yeah, it's just the idea of like, perhaps that could in some way bring you back or backfire on you. Someone's going to not respect the quality of your work. I don't know, something like that. But those are the kinds of wisdoms that you are using to navigate this. Yeah, the 2 of Pentacles, you're using your resources well. You have the clarity to know when it is more wise to give it a rest, to come back with time. you have the patience to, if there is for some reason like a date that you feel like would support your work being seen by more people, or whatever it is, by waiting to put it out on that specific date. I think that is the move you're able to make with patience. It's like a lot of strategy, timing. I think you'll be very lucky as well with this. It seems like reliant on good timing, on keen eye observation. Yes, it is to some degree, but this was how it is meant to go down for you. You have the tools, the Queen of Pentacles, you're meant to handle it this way. There's really, I have a lot of confidence from these cards, and generally from feeling intuitively that you will handle this very well. I think you have the tools to do this. Wheel of Fortune, yep. And I think that is definitely supported by the universe. Again, we talked about like, yeah, making a misstep, meaning failure. I think there is a lot of recovery that can happen as well. There's a lot of grace and leniency because the overall plan for you here is supported. So let's pause here. This message is going by very efficiently. Let's see what else we should ask about the energies of this situation. So yeah, I think that really covered a lot. Let's take a look at, I just want some kind of clarity on the whole situation we had portrayed here. Let's get additional clarity to what the message is of something to be given up, and perhaps when as well. We have the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands does make me think of the time to give up or start planning for diversion from your current path will come with committing, leaning into something that allows you to have fun and enjoy your life, and that can be a distraction from the necessary amount you see ahead of you to continue on this path before the feeling really is right to kind of diverge and dip out from that. But in the meantime, you will have something creative coming soon here. Perhaps your mind is already turning from this reading and you're thinking about that thing that you've always wanted to do, and you're going to go do research about how to actually make it work. And that is the start of a new path and opportunity opening up for you very soon. What else can we know about this? Wow, the Eight of Cups, no doubt confirming the message that we do see you escaping this situation inevitably. Wow, the Knight of Pentacles. I talked about, yeah, trial and error is making me think of Knight of Pentacles as well. There will be lessons to learn, but I think your foundation will be very solid. Perhaps some of the skills that you have been working on in your current life and position are unexpectedly going to feed into your complete opposite thing that you're pursuing now to get out of that. Like, in unexpected ways, those skills you've learned will serve you. And we see so much movement coming in now with the Knight of Swords. This is all happening for you now. I wanted to say the month of August, represented with the Eight of Cups, is relevant. So these are, it's like these realizations are really coming to the forefront for you now. The Star card, and it has been supported as such to happen in the way it has. Three of Swords. I almost said Three of Heartbreak, but the situation you've been in has been very challenging, and you could have felt like you lacked security and stability here from the very start. Like you sensed a disbelonging, like not belonging where you were. Like you knew very early on that this was not the thing that was going to make you happy. You could have been having like epiphanies, realizations, existential crises about like what you could be like newer to the workforce as well. I'm like your first like big kid job, and it's all becoming very like dreadful for you. From the very start, you realize like what the name of the game actually is, and that this is not what it was chalked up to be. Like making money is fun, enjoy that part, enjoy the stability, but you're meant to do a lot more on your path. Five of Swords. I feel like you have to fight to portray your role here. Like, you have to step out of how you naturally are. You have to try to be acceptable in the eyes of the people you're working with. You have to try to like win people over, like clients, things like that. And it all just seems kind of like slimy or like shady to you. And it's just, you know, that like negotiation, like pushing a deal, things like that is not what you were meant to achieve in this lifetime. You're meant to put out your work that represents your true self, your authentic self, and that is the goal all along. And that's what you're being called to very soon here. Perhaps this month, it is all making sense to you now about how to proceed forward. Yeah, so we talked about needing to wait for the right time to come out, but new pathways opening up, new information coming in, all happening very soon with a lot of movement with the Knight cards, Eight of Wands, the gateways opening for you now that are visible, that are in sight. And when you pass through them, the world you are in, even if you are still stuck in the bad situation, is painted in a different light. Everything is much more inspirational. You are much happier. You are content with your path as it is now, because you know that at least you are in touch with a more authentic one. You are actively working toward that change, and that you will get out of this situation. You will let go of this. You will give up the pressure, the societal expectations. Your life is going to be what it has always meant to have been very, very soon here. So let's take a look at your final message, pile 3. We have dance, move your body to music, dance with the rhythm of life. Manifest your dreams through dance. Time to go out and have fun, dance, enjoy life now, gravitate toward the things that bring you so much joy, peace, fulfillment. You will find a way effortlessly out of this challenging situation. You will be able to let go of it and move forward with a lot of inspiration and excitement on your path. So pile 3, I hope you enjoyed these messages. Please take some time to like, comment, and subscribe if you did enjoy them. I really appreciate it if you take the time to do all of those things to support this channel. With all of that being said, pile 3, I hope you have an amazing day. I wish you the best of luck in this situation, and I will see you in your next reading.